Hi, this is GP here. I hope I'm audible and you can hear me clearly. I'm just checking the audio first. So once I get a confirmation, I guess we can start. Hey, in the meanwhile, let me just look at the other aspects also. Okay, thank you, Arya. I can hear you now. I've got your message, so I guess we can start. And let me share my screen. Okay, great. I hope the stuff is visible to everyone. The PPT. I'm sure I'll get a confirmation in a minute or so. Okay. Yes, I can see the screen on YouTube also. Great. So let's get started. And before we get started, any specific questions you have about what we have done in the last couple of sessions? And secondly, anything specific you would want me to pick up in addition to what I'm doing here? Please let me know. क्योंकि अगर तुम बता सकते हो कि और क्या चाहिए है, then I can create sessions accordingly. So far I've been doing DILR जुगाड़. I plan to add इसमें quant का भी add करने का सोचा हुआ है मैंने, but that I'll do a little later. And there was some suggestions from a few students as to can we also look at something like what should I say? Some strategy sessions, how to analyze, etc., etc. If that's a requirement, तो भैया please डाल देना इसमें. Put it in the chat box, and I will have a look at that. Okay. So the idea is to be able to do what you people need rather than just share what I think is important. Okay. Okay. So let's get started now. Okay. And as usual, okay, I'm sure ये मालूम है, इसको छोड़ सकते हैं ना कि 3 sections of 40 minutes. Number of questions. This was a CAT 25 pattern. If you look at the earlier years, the pattern was similar. Till CAT 19, it was a 3-hour paper. CAT 2020 onwards, it has become a 40-minute into 3, which is a 120-minute or a 2-hour paper. Till 19, it was 1 hour into 3 or 60 minutes into 3. 3 sections of 60 minutes, same. So the paper effectively became 2/3. Okay, with Dua says advice for daily prep for LRDI. Okay, end में थोड़ा सा लेने की कोशिश करूंगा उसको, but I think this will require a separate session, and I'll see if I can organize one for that. Okay, and as I mentioned every time in the last few in each of my sessions, 50% marks in LRDI will give you something like at least a 97 percentile to 99.5 percentile. It can be anything in this range. It could be higher than 99.5 percentile also. And just for the record, CAT 20 had 24 questions, so it was a 72 marks paper. CAT 21, 22, 23 had 20 questions, so it was 60 marks each. And last year's paper was 22 questions, so 66 marks. And what is 50%? 50% of 72 is 36 marks. Okay, that means and 39 was at 35, so it would be a shade above 99 percentile in CAT 2020. 50% in CAT 21 was 30 marks, so you would be somewhere around 97 percentile in CAT 21. Again, 30 marks in CAT 2022 would have got you above 99 percentile, and 30 marks in CAT 23 would have got you something in 99.34 percentile, and 33 marks in CAT 99 or CAT 24 would have got you something like a 97.5 percentile. So the key thing to understand is that 50% score, 50% marks is a very good score, and as long as you can focus on that part, it is perfectly fine. Okay? So just make sure you don't unnecessarily try to speed up, and you are able to use Jugaad. Why is Jugaad important? Jugaad is basically important. Okay, okay, something else. Okay, Jugaad is basically important because you can then do a larger number of sets. When you apply Jugaad, you can typically do questions in or data set in less than half the time which you would normally take. Okay, so what is Jugaad? It's a problem-solving approach. It's a way of solving data sets. It is not some shortcut per se, but it's a way of solving data sets in a way that you are able to use all available information. The critical part is when you are doing Jugaad, you are using all available information and your focus is on solving the questions and not filling the table. Unfortunately, many times students they are focused on filling up the table and not solving the question. And the normal mode of solving question or solving data sets in DILR for many students is the normal approach for many students is they'll read the data and start making the table and do whatever you want. And then they go to the question. That's a very stupid way of doing, because as I've maintained, always questions include information which will help you fill up the table or help you get to the answers faster. So it is important to look at the questions. So what is the approach that we recommend? The tactical guide is DILR. So the first task is to decipher the information given in the data set, understand what it is talking about, the first paragraph or the graph or the tables or whatever it is, decipher, understand. Okay. Next step is go to the questions and identify the information. Identify what information is given in the question, and secondly, also identify what questions are being asked. What is it that I need to be looking for? Okay? Because if I know what I'm looking for, I can go straight to those areas rather than going all over the place. Okay? Then the third step is to, third step is to do the layouting, okay? Which means tabulate the data. Okay? You do the layouting, tabulate the data, and then you solve the questions. Okay? So that's the basic approach, decipher. The step which most people miss out is the second step, which is identify what the questions are giving me in terms of information and what exactly do I need to solve and find out. The other mistake people commit is in the layout part. They don't make good, easy, big tables. They try to scribble data all over the place and try to save space in the paper. Waste of time. Make a big table so that you don't have to struggle in terms of tabulation of data, and make it neat and clean and systematic. And then the things will start falling in place. Okay. And for those of you who have not attended the earlier session, just to ensure that you know, we have a program called OpenCAD. It is a free program. What OpenCAD has, it has got all the stuff which is mentioned here. And it is available for free, which will help you prepare. We find lots of students wasting a lot of time going all over the place looking for the relevant study material. It is available here. Secondly, all the exercises that I do, the 3 sessions I have done earlier, they are available in OpenCAD. You can scan this and go to this particular place. It will take you to GPK Jugaad section, okay, to the GPK Jugaad tab under OpenCAD, and you can look at the earlier sessions. I have done 1, 2, 3 sessions so far. So you can download the PDF, solve it for yourself, and then look at. So my suggestion is please download the question PDF, solve it yourself, and then look at the Jugaad solution. That will help you understand as to how to go about doing it. Today's session is this 4th one, and if you have not downloaded the exercise so far, please download the exercise from there so that you can solve it along with me. Ideally, this is something you should do before you come for the session, but that cannot be helped now, and hence, please at least download so that you can solve it along with me. Okay, and yes, the session will be recorded, so you can view it later on also. Okay. So let's look at this data set from CAT 22 slot 3. Okay. Lots of information, but there's some kind of a table at the bottom. It says round 1 to round 8. Okay. It says round 1 to round 8. Oh, well. Okay. And let me just. I think. Yes, this is better. I think it went for the captions part by mistake. And so it says round 1 to round 8 and PYQs, and there are some numbers given out here. Okay. Now, what this tells me is this some kind of a tournament data set. Otherwise, it is only in games and tournaments you'll have round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, etc. And these are 4 players PYQs. So, and it says rupees, rupees, rupees. What does this mean? Some kind of betting is happening. Okay. So, it is some kind of a betting kind of a game which is being placed. What that means, I don't know. I'll have to obviously decipher that from the information given out here. Okay. So let's go to the data set. and try to understand what it is saying. PQRS participated in a tournament comprising 8 rounds. In each round, they formed 2 pairs, with each of them being in exactly 1 pair. So 2 pairs formed with 4 people. Okay, so 1 person can be a part of only 1 pair. The only restriction in pairing was that the pairs would change in successive rounds. For example, if Pulak formed a pair with Qasim in the first round, he would have to form a pair with Ritesh and Suresh in the second round. So the same pairs cannot play 2 successive rounds. Okay? Easy to understand. He would be free to pair with Qasim again in the third round. So again, it's the same thing. If a pair has been formed, they cannot play in 2 successive rounds. A pair can play in alternate rounds or something. But if P and Q have played in 1 round, next round it cannot be PQ. It can only be PR or PS. The round after that, obviously, they can pair again. So different pairs in each successive round is the key thing. So what this tells me is different. Okay. Different pairing, not pairs, but the pairings in successive rounds. Okay. So let's go further. What does it say? In each round, each pair decided whether to play the game in that round or not. Okay. If they decided not to play, then no money was exchanged between them. If they decided to play, they had to bet either rupee 1 or rupee 2 in the round. So what does it mean? The bets can be rupee 0. The kind of bets you can have is either 1 or 2. And if you decide not to play, there's no bet. So I can even say the bets can be 0, 1, 2. These are the only possibilities of bets. That means my amount of money can go up or down by plus minus 1 or plus minus 2. So if I have X rupees in a round, let's say S has, let's say 10 rupees in round 3. In round 4, in round 3, if Suresh has 10 rupees, then in round 4, Suresh can become 10 plus 2, 10 plus 1, 10 minus 1, or 10 minus 2. That means he can be within the range of 10 plus minus 2. So this is a critical line because this will help me put the right numbers in the various cells which are vacant. Okay, so highlighter again. So let me just erase this stuff in any case. Okay. So what do we have after that? For example, if they chose to bet rupees 2, then the player winning the game got 2 rupees from the one losing the game. So the person who wins the game is paid money by the person who loses the game. Okay. So as far as we are concerned, the score, as I said, can change either by +1 or plus minus 1 or plus minus 2 for everyone. Okay. Or 0. Okay. At the beginning of the tournament, the players had rupees 10 each. Okay. The following table shows partial information about the amounts that the players had at the end of each of the 8 rounds. Okay. So at the end of round 1, Pulak, how much money we don't know. Qasim has 8 rupees, Ritesh has 10 rupees, and Suresh has 10 rupees. Okay. And before the beginning of the round, initially, what was the case for all of them? 10 rupees each. Oh, so that means 40 rupees. And this also means the sum of every row has to be 40 rupees. Why? Because if no bet is placed, there will be no exchange of money. No one's score will go up, no one's amount of money will go up or down. But if exchange happens, for example, if I look at this from round 1 to round 2, Qasim has improved this by 2, while Suresh has gone down by 2. Right? So there's between Qasim and Suresh, the total is still the same. So if one person goes up by 1, someone else, the other partner in the pair will have to go down by 1. If one person goes up by 2, the partner will have to go down by 2. So the sum of every row has to be 40. So there's a very, very important instance for us that the sum of each row has to be 40. The amount of money with between the 4 of them is fixed. Because initially they had 10 rupees each. They had 10 rupees each. So the total money between them was rupees 40. And since after that money is only being exchanged within them, the total will still remain as 40. Okay. Let's go further then. Okay. Okay. It shows every time a player had rupees 10 at the. Okay. Now this is showing the following table shows partial information that the amount that the players had at the end of each of the 8 rounds. It shows every time a player had 10 at the end of a round. Okay. Let me erase and come give the focus to what I think is important now. Okay. Okay. At the beginning, there were 10 rupees with each one of them. Okay. Partial information. Okay. It shows every time a player had 10 rupees at the end of a round. It shows every time. So, what does that mean? The ones which are 10, these are the only ones when 10 happened. Okay? Because it says it shows every time someone had a 10, that is shown already. So in round 1, RNS had 10 rupees. In round 2, Q had 10 rupees. Round 3, S had 10 rupees. Round 5, P and Q have 10 rupees. Round 8, S has 10 rupees. No other empty cell is going to be 10 rupees. Okay? So this is very, very important. It's telling me all the 10s are already mentioned out here. Okay? Next statement. Okay? It shows every time a player had 10 at the end of a round, as well as every time at the end of the round, a player had either the maximum or the minimum amount, that he would have had across the 8 rounds. What does that mean? It is showing effectively what is it? It is showing every time a player had 10 rupees or the maximum amount or the minimum amount. So let me try to understand this. When I look at Suresh, in this particular column of Suresh, 8 is the minimum amount, 13 is the maximum amount. So what does it mean? All the numbers in this particular column for Suresh have to be from 8 to 13, but it says, okay, it shows every time a player had 10, but these cells, the empty cells cannot be equal to 10. So effectively, when I'm looking at Suresh, it means the empty cells cannot be equal to 10 because all the 10s are already given. Secondly, as well as every time at the end of a round. Every time again means every time it has happened, it has been taken care of. As well as every time at the end of a round, a player had maximum or the minimum amount. Now that effectively means for me that for Suresh, 8 is the minimum and 13 is the maximum, and the 3 cells which are empty, they cannot be equal to 8 or they cannot be equal to 13. Okay. Okay. Now there's an example also. I will always focus after my understanding. I'll still go to the example so that I should be clear that I have not made a mistake. For example, Suresh. Oh, they've taken the example of Suresh only. Suresh has rupees 10 at the end of round 3, 8, and not after that, and not after any of the other rounds. Okay. So Suresh had 10 in rounds 1, 3, 8, and not after any other round. Perfectly fine. The maximum amount that he had at the end of any round was 13. So the maximum he has at the end of round is any round at the end of round 5, and the minimum he had at the end of any round is 8. At the end of other rounds, okay, at the end of all other rounds, which means round 4, round 6, and round 7. Okay, at the end of any other, okay, at the end of all other round, which is round 4, 6, and 7, he must have had either 9, 11, or 12. Okay? That means 8 is the minimum, 13 is the maximum, and 10 we have already been given. So between 8 and 13, which are the numbers which are missing? Between 8 and 13, the numbers which are missing are 9, 10, 11, and 12. 10 I'm cutting out because all 10s are already given. That means the 3 remaining cells will have either 9 or 11 or 12. Okay. Next, it is also known that P and Q had the same amount of money with them at the end of round 4. Okay. P and Q had the same amount of money at the end of round 4. Okay. So what is critical for me is to understand here, in each column, the numbers which are already given, they will not be in the empty cells. For P, the empty cells which are there, the empty cells cannot be equal to 10, cannot be equal to 13. Okay. And what is the minimum for Pulak? It is going to be 10. That means the only number which can come in the empty cells for Pulak is going to be 11 and 12. Okay. So this is an understanding we have after reading this information. Great. Okay, and it also says P and Q had the same amount of money with them at the end of round 4, so they had the same amount of money X. Okay, now let's look at the questions and try to pick out something from there. Okay, what best can be said about the amount of money that Ritesh had at the end of round 8? There's possibility that you may not be able to find it. Question 2, what can be best said about the amount of money that Pulak had at the end of round 6? So both these questions, question 1 and question 2, look at the choices. There are multiple possibilities. Both of them have two choices which showcase multiple possibilities, which clearly means कि यार थोड़ा सा तो possible है कि you will not be able to fill up the table completely. Question 3, how much money did Ritesh have at the end of round 4? And question 4, how many games were played with a bet of +2, with a bet of ₹2? Which means in how many games was an exchange of ₹2 happened? Now, this is very clearly question C and 4 telling me most probably we'll be able to fill up the data. Most probably. Why? Because if I have to find all the bets of ₹2, I should by and large be able to fill up the data table completely. Otherwise, I'll not be able to get it. Similarly, question 3, how much money did Ritesh have at the end of round 4? So Ritesh at the end of round 4, I should be able to find. Okay? But question 1 and 2 are creating a small doubt कि यार ये पता नहीं पूरा solve होगा कि नहीं. Question 5, which of the following pairings were made in round 5? Now, which of the following pairings were made in round 5? Let me ask you a question. Let me tell you. These two cannot be the answer. Anyone? I'm sure some of you will be able to tell me why choice 1 and 2 cannot be the answer. The data is telling me when I've gone through this paragraph, it is telling me the answer to question 5 cannot be 1 or 2. I'll wait for one of you to give me the answer. Why? I'll wait for you to give me in the chat box. Okay. There seems to be a problem. I'm not sure if anyone has been able to understand this part as to why. Okay. चलो कोई बात नहीं. No, Omkar nahi yaar. Please tell me. Okay, look at it this way. If P and R played in round 5, how many players are there? There are 4 players, P, Q, R, S. If in particular round P and R have played, if P and R have played in the round, what will be the other pair? Other pair will be QS. Is that fine? In a particular round, if P and R are a pair, then the other pair will have to be Q and S. There have to be 2 pairs, na? That means if we say choice 1 is correct, then 2 is also correct. Both choice 1 and choice 2 will be correct if you tell me one of them is the answer. If you tell me choice 1 and choice 2, so nahi ho sakta na. You cannot have 2 correct answers. That means these 2 cannot be right. Because if choice 1 is right, so is choice 2. So 2 correct answer choices are not possible. So they cannot be the answer. So first thing I've been able to pick out from here is, as far as round 5 is concerned, the pair can be either PS or PQ. Choice 3 or choice 4. Something I've been able to identify. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? चलो अब इसको देखते हैं. But as usual, before I do anything, what will I do? I'll identify what do I need to find. Table है ना मेरे सामने. Question 1 says, what best can be said about the amount of money that Ritesh had at the end of round 4? So Ritesh at the end of round 4, this is the cell which I need to find out. Okay. And we also know this can either be 4, 5 or 6. 4, 5 or 6. Question 2, what best can be said about the amount of money Pulak had at the end of round 6? Pulak at the end of round 6. Okay. This is the second thing we need to find out. Okay. And again, this is telling me this value can be either 11 or 12 or 13. Okay. Question 3, how much money did Ritesh have at the end of round 4? Ritesh at the end of round 4. Oh, which one have I put that? Ritesh at, oh, I'm sorry, this was Ritesh at the end of round 8. Yeah. Question 1 is Ritesh at the end of round 8. Question 2, Pulak at the end of round 6. Question 3, Ritesh at the end of round 4. Okay. Question 4 says, how many games were played with a bet of rupees 2? This is the one which will probably make me fill up the table completely. And last question, which of the following pairings was made in round 5? And here we have already identified, even without doing anything, that choice 1 and 2 are wrong. And the pairing in round 5 is either PS or PQ. This is either PS or PQ. One of them is the answer. Arya, I have not really, I have just come here. Now I'll look at solving. I'm just picking up the data first. And we know before they started, they had 10 rupees each. Okay. Now, as far as pull-up is concerned, the numbers which are missing in the rounds, they have to be greater than 10 and less than 13. So the only possibility is 11 and 12. For Qasim, the numbers have to be between 8 and 12, and 10 is not counted. So they can be only 9 or 11. Ritesh, the smallest is 4, the highest is 10. So the numbers which are possible for Ritesh are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. As far as Suresh is concerned, 8 is the minimum, 13 is the maximum. So it can be after 8, 9, 10 is already there, then 11 and 12. Okay. These are the numbers which are possible. And there was one information given that P and Q had the same amount of money at the end of round 4. So let me put that also. Okay. Now let's look at the situation in front of us. Okay. Sum of the total sum in any row will always be 40. Let me look at the questions the way they have been answered. Now, to me, these are the two things which I'm more interested in because this is what the question has asked. Question number, this round 6, Pulak, I'll come to it later because in this particular row, I don't know anything. While as far as round 8 is concerned, two numbers are already there. And round 4 is concerned, these two X's are there. So, to me, round 4 and round 8 are the places where I will start from. Okay. And also, then I can even, this I can do straight away. Na? 10, 20, 33, 7, 40. So this is 7. Okay. Okay, but let's come to it later now. Now let me look at round 8 first of all. Okay, round 8. Okay. Now 10, 13 plus 10, 23. That means between Qasim and Ritesh, they can have 23 means 17. The balance between Qasim and Ritesh has to be 17. How do I get 17? It can be, can I get a 9 here? Can I get a 9 in for Qasim in round 8? Anyone? Qasim round 8 possible? Not possible. Not possible. Why? Because the gap between them is 3. If you remember the data given to us, what did it say? Let me go to the highlighter. If they decide to play, they had to bet either 1 or 2. Okay, that means bet can only be 1 or 2. That means my marks or my amount of money can go up or down by a maximum of 2 rupees. If there's a 9 rupee out here, then the gap we have between is that means my score has to go down by 3 rupees. Not possible. So binary dice, you are wrong. This is not possible. So as far as Qasim is concerned, in round 8, 9 is not possible because this would mean Qasim is losing 3 rupees. The maximum loss or gain in any round can be 2 rupees. So that means this has to be 11. And that means Ritesh in round 8 has to be 6. So Ritesh in round 8 has to be 6. So correct answer 3. Okay. Now let me look at round 4. Look at round 4. What is the only common number possible between P and Q? Both of them have to be same. These two have to be same. Okay. And the only common number available between them is 11. These two empty cells, if they have to be equal, they have to be 11. Right? So 22. That means the remaining two cells should be 18. Okay. The remaining two cells should be 18. Okay. So to get 18, what do we get? 5 plus 13 is not possible. 6 plus 12 is possible. 7 plus 11 is possible. Okay. So let me write it down here. What are the possibility out here? Okay. So let's see what are the possibilities. Okay. We can have 22 gone, 18 has to be there. So 5 plus 13, there is no 13 possible, but 6 plus 12 is possible. 7 plus 11 is possible. 6 plus 12, 6 plus 12 or 7 plus 11 is possible. These are the two possibilities. Okay. Possible? Let's check. Okay. Now, if I look at 6 and 12, if this is 6 and this is 12, that means Ritesh in round 4 is 6, Suresh in round 4 is 12. What does that mean? That means Pulak has gone from 11 to 10, so plus minus 1. Pulak has gone down by 1, Qasim has gone down by 1. That means Ritesh and Suresh should go up by 1. We did not even have to do this. Had I looked at the fact that the data is telling me that Pulak has gone down by 1, Qasim has gone down by 1. That means the other two people should be going up by 1. Okay? Because what is lost for one has to be gained for the other. So 11 to 10, Pulak goes down from 11 to 10, Qasim goes down from 11 to 10. That means Ritesh should go up from 6 to 7 and Suresh should go up from 12 to 13. Okay? That means Ritesh in round 4 is 6. How much money did Ritesh have in round 4? 6. So 2 questions, if you notice, we have solved already. Let me just highlight that also so that we don't come back to it. So question 1 and question 3 we have done already. Okay. Okay. Now let me look at question number 5. Which of the following pairings was made in round 5? Why am I looking at? Because now I have the scores for round 4, round 5, both of them. Okay. And I know the answer can either be PS or PQ. Okay. Can PQ be a pair? Okay. Can PQ be a pair in round 5? At the end of round 5, the scores are 10, 10, 7, 13. So round 5, Pulak came down from 11 to 10 and Qasim also reduced. Not possible, absolutely right with it. Because both of them have lost money. So Pulak can play either with Q, either with R or with S. Pulak cannot play with Q because both of them have lost money. So P with R or P with S. Okay. Okay. So PQ is not possible. That means this case goes away. If this goes away completely, that means the answer has to be PS. Pen. So the correct answer has to be PS. So we have marked the answer to another question, which is question number 5. I hope you understand why it is important to keep looking at the questions, ताकि ये समझ रहे कि क्या करना है और हम बेकार की चीज करके टाइम ना वेस्ट करें. Otherwise, what happens? We are so busy filling up the table, we forget to take care of the questions. Okay. Now, what are we left with? We have done question 1. We have to look at question 2. Okay. Question 2 and question 4 are the ones which are left. Question 4 says how many games were played for the bet of ₹2. For this, I need to fill up the table. इसको बाद में देखेंगे. Question 2 को देखते हैं. What best can be said about the money that Pulak had with him at the end of round 6? Now, Pulak can have only ₹11 or ₹12 in round 6. That means choice 2 is wrong because 13 is not possible. It is either 11 or 12. Okay. Now, let me look at round 6. Now, as far as round 6 is concerned, for Qasim, the only two possibilities are 9 or 11. Is that right? But 9 is not possible. I will say 9 is not possible for Qasim in round 6. Please tell me why. Qasim, round 6, 9 is not possible. Why is 9 not possible? Because then round 6 to 9, round 7 plus 3 is not possible. If Qasim has 9 rupees at the end of round 6, then to go to round 7, it will need 3 rupees jump, which is not possible. The jump can be only of 2 rupees. That means, as far as Qasim is concerned, in round 6, Qasim will be 11 rupees. One we have fixed. Absolutely right. Many of you have given the correct answer. Okay, so that means now we need to say this is +1. Okay, so let's look at what are the possibilities for others. Okay. Now, again, if you look at Pulak, can Pulak be 11? Let's see. If Pulak is 11, 22, the remaining two have to be 18. The remaining two cells have to be 18. Okay, one more thing. As far as Ritesh is concerned, in round 6, can Ritesh become 8? Is 8 possible for Ritesh in round 8? Round 6, sorry. For Ritesh in round 6, 8 is not possible because this will mean a gap of 8. So 8 is not possible for Ritesh. Is 7 possible? No, because 7 will need a gap of 3. That means as far as Ritesh is concerned, it will either be 5 or 6. Right? If Ritesh is 5, then 11, 11, 22 and 5, 30, 27 and then 13. Not possible. 11, 5, 11, 11, 5, 13 is not possible because 13 is, okay, because 13 is not available. Okay, that's okay. So 11, so let me remove 5 from here. And 11 and 6 and 12. Is this possible? 11, 11, 6 and 12, is it possible? 13 to 12 is possible. Let's see. 10 to 11 is +1. This is +1. 7 to 6 is -1, -1. It looks possible. Okay. So this is one possibility we have. Yeah. Okay, but there's one more thing. We can look at the row. Oh, I'm sorry. We can look at the row below it also. We can look at the row below it also because this is 10 to 11 +1, +1, -1, -1. Okay. But let's look at the row below it also to confirm. 12 plus 4, 16 in round 7. In round 7, it is 12 plus 4, 16. Right? So how much will this should be? 24. These two cells should add up to 24. How can they add up to 24? Can this be 11 plus 13? No, because 13 is not possible here. So the only possibility will be 12 plus 12. Okay. I'm just erasing this stuff. Okay. Now let's see. 11 to 12 is +1. 11 to 12 is +1. This is -2. Not possible because if I have a +1 and +1, I need 2 -1. That means the case which we have taken is incorrect. That means this number cannot be 11. Okay. This means this number cannot be 11 or this number has to be equal to 12. If this number cannot be 11, that means the correct answer is 12 out here and this becomes equal to 12. Okay. Clear? Any doubt so far? Okay. Now, we can look at filling up the stuff which were there. So round 1, what should be the table? 10, 20, 28 and 12. Round 2 is 23 and 8, 31, 9, 40. Round 3, we have 3 cells, बाद में देखेंगे. Round 4, round 5, round 6, 12, 11, 23. 23, we need 17 between these two. Let's see if we can get them. So this can be 6. If this is equal to 6, okay, so effectively what do we have now? So this is 0 and this is +1. Okay, if this is 0 and +1 and this is 10 to 12 +2 +1. So this is either -1 -2 or this is -1 -2. So let's check. 23, we need 17. If I need 17, This can either be 6 or 5. If this is 6, 11. 6, 11 means -1 and -2. Possible, but below that, -2, not possible, because 0, 1 means I need a 0, 1 here also. So 6 is not possible. That means this is going to be equal to 5. So 5 and 12. 12 and 5, 30. Yeah, perfectly fine. So what do we have here? 0, 1. This is -1 and 0. Right? Now what do we need? How many people had a bet of 2 rupees? Let's see. How many times, how many games were played with a bet of 2 rupees? So +2, -2. Okay. 13 to 12 is 8 to 10 is +2. Then there's a -2. There's a +2 here also. There's another +2 here. 12, 13, 6, 7, no +2. There's a +2. There's a -2. Okay, that's fine. 12 to 10, -2. Okay. 4 to 6, +2. Okay. Now let me see what are the bets of. Okay. So 1. Okay. The other two are 0, 0. In round 2, there's another bet of 2. Another bet of 2. Round 3, there's +2. So there'll be a -2 in one of these. We don't know which one, but there'll definitely be a -2. Similarly, in round 4, there's a +2 and there'll be a -2 also here. We don't know which one, but one of them will, at least one of them will be -2. Okay. Then we have nothing in round 4, round 5. Round 6, there's again a +2 and a -2. Round 6 is 0, nothing. Round 7, there is a -2 and a +2. So as far as we are concerned, how many bets we have identified to be of this number that we are looking at, +2, -2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now there's a small problem. So I can say this can be the answer to this question, hence is going to be greater than or equal to 6. The answer will be greater than or equal to 6. Why? Because I have already counted 6. Now the question you need to ask yourself, is it possible that in round 3 there are 2 bets of 2 rupees? This is the only question we need to ask yourself. And in round 4 there are 2 bets of 2 rupees. Because while we have round 2 to round 3, 1 2 rupee bet, round 3 to round 4, 1 3 rupee bet. Okay. So okay, Arya, the need not be successfully same. Yes. Arya, actually I have not used that statement at all. The pairs need not be successively same, और मेरे को use करे बिना ही मेरा काम हो गया अभी तक, if you notice. Okay. So answer is okay, very, very unlikely that you'll have 2 bets of 2 rupees in a particular round. But if you want to be sure, now this is the place where you need to take a call. What is the call? The call has to be, do I take a chance and mark the answer as 6, or do I do the table completely? To complete the table, I need to fill these 3 cells only. So yes, possibly you can take a call. Okay? So possibly you can decide to do it. But if you are short of time, my suggestion would be a बहुत कम chance है कि in a single game there will be 2 bets of 2 rupees. Okay? So hence, if you are short of time, and this is a theta question, इसका answer 6 mark करके चलो. But if you have sufficient time with you, then you should fill up the table. So what is the balance that we need to fill up in this particular cell, in this particular row, row 3? 10 is already there, we need 30 more. Okay. Now again, we need to start making cases. There's a +2 out here. So we can say, can this be -2? Can this be -2? No, this cannot be -2. Why? Because 8 is not possible. Can 13 to -2 possible? Yes. That means either this is 7 or this is 11. One of them is the case. So let's start checking. So if this happens to be 9 and 7, okay, so there's a +2 and a -2. 17 gone, 23 required. How do we get 23? The only way to get 23 will be 12 and 11. Okay, so 13 to 12 is -1, 10 to 11 is +1. Similarly, 12 to 11 is -1 and 11 to 11 is 0. This case is wrong. Why? Because if I have a +2 here, I need a -2 also, but I am not getting a -2. I am not getting a -2. What does that mean? That means this case which I have taken of this number being 7 is wrong. That means this should not be 7. This should not be -2. -2 should be here. Okay. So let me change that. So I have a +2. This has to be -2. That means 11 and this has to be 0. Okay. So 10 and 11, 21 gone, 19 required. Okay. Can this be 9? No, this cannot be 9. Because if this is 9, this will have to be 10. But 10 is not possible. So this is ruled out. And that means this number for Qasim in round 3 has to be 11. 11, 11, 22 and 10, 32 and 8. Again, we can verify again. -2, 10 to 11 is +1, 9 to 8 is -1. Similarly, 8 to 6 is -2. So -2 +2, 11 to 11, 0, 0. Great. So how many 2 rupee bets are there? The 2 rupee bets are 6. No change. Our initial assumption was correct. So the answer to this question number 4 is going to be 6. Actually, if you notice, 3 6s. Question 1 has a 6 as an answer. Question 3 has a 6 as an answer. Question 4 has 6 as an answer. Okay. So I hope this helps you understand what was important out here from my point of view is this question was important. And yes, these 2 questions were also important. But question number 5 was the one which helped me fill up one of these cells really fast. Okay. Okay. I hope this is clear. Any doubts, let me know. Okay, it seems there are no doubts. Then I guess we can move and close the session. Okay, and as usual, the contact details are there with you. And in case you need to connect with me, my number is 9811155160, and my email ID is gp@careerlauncher.com. Feel free to connect with me with respect to your preparation if required. And with it, you had asked a question in the beginning. Daily prep LRDI के लिए क्या करना है? देखो, I'll have a. Let me see if I and Jijo can do a separate session on that. But to just get you started, daily prep should be one is daily dose. I hope you are enrolled for daily dose, or if you are a classroom student, career launcher student, classroom student, or a test series student, I think daily dose is a part of your program. This is something you should do. In addition to this, if you can do 2 to 3 sets per day. Even if you do daily dose plus 2 sets of DILR, I think you are on track. Okay? This is the bare minimum you should be doing. Okay? But what I'll do is I'll have a session separately conducted. Okay, what resources? See, the resources for you, again, I will say daily dose. Okay, let me see if I have space here. Okay, let me put. Okay, yeah, this is one of the resources actually which you could use. DILR 1000 has been launched. You can look at doing it, enrolling for it. This is being conducted by Gautam Bawa, Ravi Teja, and me. We are the 3 faculty members for this. Okay? But coming back to it, the sources apart from what I'm giving you is definitely this is the source that we could use. In addition to this, CAT papers from 2017 to 24. This is important resource. Secondly, mock CATs. The CL mock CATs are extremely important because year after year we are able to give very, very, very good sets, and the kind of sets which you get in the paper. Okay, so these are 2 important resources. The third resource which I had said is daily dose for you. Okay. And if you look at the open CAT, quite a few data sets are there solved by me available there. Different ways of Jugaad solution sector are there. That is what you could look at. These are the resources which you could look at on a. And once you complete this, then you can connect with me. I'll give you most of that you could look at. Excuse me. Okay, so that's it from my side. I hope it takes care of you. Yeah. Okay, Shivam says I am a CAT repeater. You have solved almost all CAT papers. Okay. Uh, okay, so the other thing which you could look at, Shivam, is CAT 2000 to 2008. Okay, Shivam, if you have done this, then you need to pick up study material from Career Launcher and do that. Okay, but mock cats, daily dose, these are things which are extremely important. I would say mock cats and daily dose are something which you should do. See, and Shivam, if you have that kind of exposure, then all you need to do is possibly revise a little and practice it. Should I repeat solving? Yes, Shivam. देखो शिवम रिवीजन बहुत जरूरी है. The first time you solve a set. Most of the time you will get Jugaad solutions only after you have, only when you look at it for the second or the third time. So second or the third time when you look at it, you start getting ideas as to how to go about doing it. So now when you're looking at each of these sets, the older sets, can you look at, can you ensure that you do the, look at them from a point of view how to solve them faster, how to, what kind of Jugaad solution to use. That is the stuff you should be looking at now. Okay. Okay. So great. So that's it from my side. We'll meet again next week. And there's some feedback from you that you want us to cover other stuff. So maybe I will take a break from the Jugaad solution of DILR for the week, and let me see if I can do that DILR session that Vidit has asked for, and which will be useful for practically all of you. Okay. Okay, guys and girls, then I'll stop here. Good night. All the best. With this, I'll be closing the session. Okay. Good night.